You know, we've been talking, we're talking. And I suppose if you're ready, I'm ready.
I was born ready.
That's fantastic because it's official. As of today, we're a real podcast. Reason being, we have a name, which, I mean, we had a name when we recorded. We have a logo. We have artwork. We have a YouTube page that's live now. So
We have all that stuff now. Like, we didn't have it when we recorded our first 15 episodes.
first 15, exactly. So
Speaking of the name, welcome to the Have White Belt Will Travel podcast with Bobby and Steve.
that's us. I was going to say to you, or ask you rather, beforehand, if you could, since this is technically officially episode 2, after listening back to episode 1, editing it and stuff, I noticed we didn't really talk about the fact that this is our name, this is why it's our name, what it means, stuff like that. So,
Okay.
what's it mean, bro? What's this all about? Like, because I
Before-
trained jujitsu twice.
Twice in his life. So before I started militia, and that's before I met Bobby.
The love of your life. Sorry to interrupt you.
What's that?
The love of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. So yeah, I started this journey where I wanted to lose weight and just change like a ton of stuff in my life, and start hitting the gym, working out. So started with little steps, started working out, losing weight, and then got into podcasts. And the podcasts I was listening to, the majority of them, not just one, but overwhelming majority of them were always talking about jiu-jitsu. You know, you got to join jiu-jitsu. You know, it helps and this and everything. So I kept putting it off, thinking, you know, at my age, you know, what the hell am I going to do? But, you know, I ended up going to a gym and joined it and quickly fell in love with it. And then I went to the Chewy camp in 2021. And on the way home from the Chewy camp, I got this idea. I was like, man, I'd really like to start. And at the time, I didn't know what it'd be. I didn't know if it'd be a podcast. I didn't know if it'd be a YouTube channel, if it'd be like a vlog, just something. I wanted to start something where I travel to different gyms. And it didn't have to be necessarily gyms. It could be like anything, any kind of trainings. And where I would take the training and then I would talk about my experience in it or with it. And it just came to me like when I was driving home, the name Have White Belt Will Travel, it's a play off of an old black and white Western. My dad was huge in the Western, so maybe that's where I got it from. Yeah. I mean, I know the name came from there, but I don't know why that popped in my head. But yeah, so Have White Belt Will Travel, you know, figure it's funny, you know, like, because like, if you think about it, like with the Western, it was Have Gun Will Travel. Well, Have Gun, or the guy, his name was Paladin. He was like just a badass, you know, like you called him if you had trouble and you needed it taken care of in your town. Paladin would show up, he'd get paid, and, you know, he'd take care of it. Yeah. And with me, I thought it was funny because I was like, you know, I'm not this badass. I've got this white belt, you know, but I'm showing up.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really cool. When you first said it to me, it took me a while to get used to it because you had mentioned that name to me 6 months ago. You know, we were having some beers or something, and we were talking about vlogging and podcasts and stuff like that, and you had brought that name up. You carrying around a notebook, scribbling down your names, and you brought that up, and I was like, all right, it's gonna take me a little bit. And then I came home and I like looked up the Western and familiarized myself with it, and then I was like, all right, that could work. And then we didn't really do anything, and then finally we started recording episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of our podcast.
And somehow we're on episode 2 now,
right? And what were we gonna land on? We had another one picked out. Matt Frogs.
Oh, Matt Frogs.
Matt Frogs. Yeah. It's funny because both names are super relevant to jiu-jitsu, which I have trained. You know, that's kind of how you and I met. You and I used to do Stephanie's like Friday night beginner gi and Saturday morning beginner gi classes and stuff like that. And I did a handful of Tom's classes, a handful of John's classes, but I didn't train jiu-jitsu a ton. You're there all the time, but I was focusing more on striking and stuff like that. And there was a brief point in time where I was thinking about actually fighting, So I was like super overworked, and I was doing like striking class. I would do jiu-jitsu, then I would do sparring afterwards, and then the next day I'm like, I can skip jiu-jitsu, and then it's like, fuck.
By the end of that time, you were looking good. Like, I'm not talking like just physically. I'm talking like going in there and seeing you hold the pad, seeing you strike, seeing like, and granted, we didn't know each other that long, and I'm not someone that can sit here and critique or say how good someone is, but I was like, dang, he's really coming along.
I started like really figuring it out, and then then I just like, and it's funny because everybody's perspective is different, because I see how hard like Mary, and I see how hard Colton and George and Josh are training and stuff like that, and Landon. I wasn't training.
Josh, really?
He's getting
I see him at the morning class.
Side tangent.
When I show
Guess
up.
who's been in class 2 nights in a row?
Oh my God! Don't tell me he's back.
Our friend,
Don't tell me.
Special guest from the episode.
Yeah,
1.
I know exactly who you were going to say. It's like, he's back, man. I've
He's
been
back.
texting him. Like, I will literally text him. It's just Jared that we're talking about. I will literally text him, like, if we used to text, like, just send stupid stuff to each other back and forth. But like, if I don't see him for like a week or two, I'll just text him. It's always, "Are you alive?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm just checking on you, buddy."
It's funny because he's like, when the fuck did you get blonde hair?
Oh yeah.
And I was
He's been
like,
gone for a while.
I'm
then.
like, dude, it's beginning of summer, because this is already my 3rd haircut with blonde
Yeah.
hair. It's already almost gone. And he's like, wow. He's like, he didn't recognize me Monday. He came into class on Monday. He said, hey to Colton, put his stuff down, made eye contact with me, put his stuff down, then looked back up, and it was like, oh shit, hey Bobby. He's like, I didn't recognize you. I was like,
that dude has got the life. I mean, constantly going somewhere, going to all these fun places too.
he went to a concert last
Yeah.
night after the gym.
Yeah, he goes to Vegas, or I think Bonnaroo, or like these festivals and everything like that. And I mean, that's the reason why I'm like, if I don't hear for a moment, I'm like,
Just make sure he didn't.
are you live, son?
Fucking what's the movie? Hangover.
Yeah. And it's funny, like you were talking about when we first met and started talking about this podcast. I can't remember if that was Buds or if it was a time before Buds somewhere, maybe on the way to David's to watch the fights, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because I remember we brought it up with the intention that maybe Jared would be a 3rd member, or you and I were at least thinking about that initially.
I just thought that was how funny it was how quickly you're like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
I started talking about my idea and you're like, yeah, let's do it.
It's fun because we have such similar mindsets when it comes to that stuff, when it comes to podcasts and vlogs and like the people who we follow on YouTube and Spotify and stuff. And I've done this, like, like in Massachusetts, I was the producer of a podcast specific studio. I had a buddy, Travis. It's funny, he actually just commented on one of our first Instagram posts.
I read it.
Yeah, he's like, if you need me to send you anything, because he like bought a bunch of equipment to buy a state of the art podcast studio that I was supposed to run, and then I'm like, sorry, I'm moving to Tennessee instead.
It looks like you brought a lot of it with you.
This is all my stuff. This was all the stuff.
State of the art.
Yeah, this is all the stuff that I already own. This was like my little. This is my little like at-home pocket producer setup here.
My microphone's being held together with duct tape.
Actually, this microphone's yours. That microphone's Tom.
Oh.
Yeah, and then my microphone's in my bedroom. I'm keeping mine safe.
No, I won't blame you.
It's okay. I bought accidental protection plans on both of them.
Switching gears here. Ever since like this past weekend, Bobby and I, we went out and we started putting around signs for our pressure washing business.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing it at night, just we figured that'd be the easiest time to do it. One drive, one get out and put it around, put the sign out or whatnot. And we pulled up to this one spot, and it's like one of our first spots. And I go to park, or I stop. No, it was at an intersection, and I just stop, and I'm like, all right, jump out. I'll go down here and turn around. And Bobby opens the door, and he jumps out. And I don't know if he got fully out before he was right back in. He was like, no. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? He's like, there's voices down there. I'm like, voices down there? And it's voices, like, I guess it was 2 homeless dudes living under a bridge. And Bobby's like, no, they're having a full-on conversation. I don't know what's going on. I'm not doing it. So now, every time I go by a bridge, since that night, I'm sitting here and I'm looking and I'm scouring, and I can't believe the amount of homeless people that I'm finding under bridges now.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it's like nothing against the homeless, so I'm not saying this in the wrong way, but like you read those grim tales or whatever, and you got the troll that you can't cross the bridge unless you answer the riddle. That's what I feel like with these homeless. So like if they would seriously start asking riddles at bridges, I think that'd be the greatest thing ever.
Dude, it's funny. I feel that same thing, but I feel it from like trying to avoid talking to a specific homeless person, because working where I work, I experience a lot of the homeless in Chattanooga every day, every morning. And like a lot of the times I'm harassed, a lot of the times my coworkers are harassed, a lot of the times, there's actual physical like issues and like stuff like that. And it's like every morning I feel like I'm about to cross the bridge with a troll asking me a question, because I know for a fact that, this guy's going to ask me for money. This guy's going to ask me if I can get him a cup of coffee. This guy's going to ask me. And I'm just like, every morning it's the same thing. I feel like I have to answer a riddle every morning. And the answer is always, no, sorry, I don't have any money for you. Or like, sorry, no, I can't get you coffee. Like whatever the case may be. But every morning.
I completely understand. I am so desensitized toward the homeless now, and I don't say that proudly, because I do. There is a part of me that still feels bad for them, but it's so prevalent now. It is constantly, like when I'm out every day, somebody is driving up beside me and they'll park beside me and they'll wave, and you kind of wave, and then they start talking and they start giving you the sob story about they're on their way to work and they're almost out of gas, or it's always crazy stories, and it's always, or like say being asked by homeless people at intersections, or if they're just holding the signs. And now I'm starting to see like yesterday, it broke my heart. Like it was this guy, and he was younger than me. He was definitely able-bodied, had his wife or girlfriend, whatever, and she looked, there was nothing wrong with her. She was sitting on a cooler. He had a sign. He's asking for money. But what got me was they had like their 4 or 5-year-old kid out there on her lap, and they were kind of he would come over to the sign or whatnot, and it just, in my head, and I could be completely wrong about this, but I was like, you're using your kid, now to tug at the heartstrings. And what are we teaching, what are we teaching our youth, to do this? Like, I understand people fall on hard times, and I will be the first person. If it's legitimate and you're on hard times, I will help and do everything I can. Yeah. But I have been scammed so much.
Yeah, 100%. And it's tough seeing situations like that where it's seemingly a young and able-bodied person. And like, you can, many times it's mental health, and like that can be super debilitating. Like if you have either severe anxiety or depression, or you're just, bipolar or whatever, but still a lot of the times it's like you could be doing something. You're spending your time and your effort doing this, like standing on the corner and asking people for money, but like, go around, try to find a job. Like it's like everybody's hiring. Yeah, everybody's hiring.
I'll hire you. I'll put you on a roof. Start hanging stuff for me.
Why not? So it's tough, and it's like I had a similar experience. It's not with a kid, but my family recently came to visit from Massachusetts. It was my mother, my sister, all her kids, my other sister's kids. My sister's husband. It was just like there was literally 11 of my family members all came to visit, and I was so excited to show them downtown Chattanooga. I wanted to show them like the aquarium and the river and the walking bridge and all that stuff. And I took them down to the Trail of Tears water stairs. There's like a stair set that has flowing water through it. Super cool. And we get there. I'm so excited to show my nephews and nieces, and there's a homeless guy. He's clearly on drugs. He's half naked. And he's dancing up and down the water stairs.
How old is he?
He's 32, 33, But he's clearly on drugs. His pants are halfway down, like you could see his ass crack. He's shirtless. He's dancing, splashing the water. It looked like he was like starring in his own musical. And he had no regard for anybody else. He would come up, get really close to us, dance as if we weren't there. He would go up to the symbols that are on the wall and do prayers to him. Drop to the ground and then roll down the stairs. Like it was like literally like it looked like he was in a musical. It was ridiculous. And it made my whole family so uncomfortable. My nieces, my daughter were like, what the fuck? Like, we got to get out of here. I was like, all right, maybe I can show you guys that again tomorrow. We can experience it, without this. We turned the corner to the inside area of the aquarium to show them like the little ponds that they have within. Homeless woman comes up to my 13-year-old niece, and she's just like, excuse me, honey, I just got kicked out of my apartment, and I just need some money for the bus to get to
and asking a 13-year-old.
Asking a 13-year-old. But here's the kicker, right? I walk up because I see her interacting with my niece, and I'm like, let me go make sure this isn't a homeless person harassing my niece. I walk up. I know exactly who the woman is because I deal with her every day. And she's like, oh, hey, Bobby, how do you know her? I was like, this is my niece. I'm like, not today. Thank you so much. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I saw her the next day. She's like, I'm so sorry about yesterday. I was like, don't try. Like, you used a fake story on my niece without realizing I was next to her and heard the whole story. And, like, I know you personally. So, like, why are you being sketchy?
If your niece had money, would she give her money?
She would have felt pressured to.
Okay, because
she would have handed her a $20 bill if she had it in her pocket. That's how nervous it like made her.
When I had, Gracie, she'll be riding around with me or whatnot, and we'll come to one of these intersections, and Gracie will read the sign, and she's like, "Dad, we need to give him money." And I'm like, "No." I always like, "I ain't got any cash on me." And she's like, "Oh, I know you got 20 on you." Yeah. I'm like, "I'm not going to give this person $20." I was like, we can give him $20. We'll come right back here tomorrow, and they're going to be right back here again. Yeah. I was like. And especially seeing like when I was younger, the homeless were like older people, like, legitimate vets. And like when I say older, I mean, we're talking like 60s and up, Today, some of these, the majority of them look like they're in their late 20s, hell, sometimes early 20s, late 20s, early 30s. And I'm just like, I work with everything that we have going on and supporting my family, and just like how you're supporting your family, I work almost 7 days a week. And I almost would bank to say that you're doing the same, because every time I'm talking to you, you're producing podcasts, you're editing, you're doing this, you're at your regular job, and then we got pressure washing on top of it. Then we're marketing and just doing all this stuff. And I'm like, this is a conversation. It was a hard conversation to have with my daughter, but I was like, I'm out here busting my ass every day. Yeah. This is not the actual. I'm happy with my life, but it's not like, say, my dream life. Right. Like I would love to have a home on a lake or something, and that's the end goal. But I was like, I'm working toward that. They need to be working toward something. If we give them 20, they're going to be right back out here tomorrow.
Exactly. And it's crazy because we do all that, and like I still daily feel like I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
If I sit down to do something and get distracted, like I get so fucking mad at myself afterwards.
That's why you and I are so much alike. I am the same exact way. I sat down last night because my kids asked me to watch an episode of Gravity Falls with them. And this episode I've seen in the past, and it's absolutely freaking hilarious.
It's a good show.
Oh my God, man! But it is a great show. But this one episode, I love it.
Yeah.
But so I sit down and watch it, and it's the one with Rumble and Skirmish. I was like, going to get him tattooed on me. That's my first tattoo.
There you go. Didn't want one at 18. That's a dumb idea. Didn't want one at 30. That's a dumb idea.
Rebel. But no, seriously, like I sat down, and it's like a 30-minute show. And for those 30 minutes, I swear to God, I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I felt like, I was like, dude, you could be, there's a ton of books that I'm reading or listening to. There's a bunch of marketing material, a bunch of stuff from, on the business side, and then the pressure washing side, that I subscribe to and watch and stuff. And I felt guilty, I'm hoping that passes one day. I would like to get to a point where a little bit where I can relax. I think that, I don't know, it keeps you going, if you got a goal or you're working towards something.
Right.
I've been on the opposite end of that. And, that was prior, that 3 or 4 years ago that I was telling you about. I would work, had a decent job working in the corporate world, I was middle class pay and all that.
Right.
I'd get off work. I had enough to, take care of me and the kids and not really have any worries or anything like that. And I'd get off work, and, if I was in the office, then I'd come home and get on the couch. So a lot of times I was working from home. So I just, put my headset down, give me a big plate of food, get on the couch, sit there. And that was my life. Yep. There was no activity, no drive, no push, no nothing. Right. And times are just a little bit harder right now because of everything that we're trying to do and get started. but I prefer this.
It feels more productive.
It does.
You know,
It feels like there's like it's going to happen. Like there's a goal and you're going toward it.
Exactly. Even with like things like where it's been like a week or two since we've had a job, you know, it's been like I wish the marketing was working a little better. And like in my head, I'm like, I'm fucking busting my ass on these ads. And I'm like, this last one is my best one, in my opinion, in the 10 people I've showed's opinion, but this one's not hitting the way the first couple did. So I'm like, all right, now I got to backtrack and figure that out. But I'm constantly thinking of stuff like that. But, you know, when it comes to like in your situation with the sitting down and watching the show, when it comes to family time, I've been trying so much lately to just be more mindful in that moment and then just be like, all right, this, like I understand my brain's trying to come here, my brain's trying to go over there, my brain's trying to do this, but I'm like, all right, this is the time that needs to be savored. I'm like, so let's like, even if it's an hour, like if it was an hour for me to go like dabble with, you know, whatever I do and, you know, go like F around and do nothing, then I could feel guilty. But if I'm like watching a show with the kids, I'm like, you know what, let's, you know, I'm not going to feel guilty about this. This is necessary.
Speaking of savoring family time, last night when I was watching Gravity Falls with the kids and everything, I don't know why. I normally don't do this, but I went and I got me one of their popsicles out of the freezer. It was an orange one. I love orange flavor stuff. So I'm sitting there on the couch. I got my orange flavor popsicle. I'm enjoying it. I'm watching this funny episode. I'm like, oh, this is good. And my son hardly ever sits when he watches TV or plays games or anything like that. I mean, he's just bouncing. You know, he's bouncing off the walls. So he kind of shoots a look over to me and everything, and he starts to come over there, and he turns around, and I'm thinking that he's about to sit on the couch. I'm like, all right, you know, he's going to sit. We're going to put my arm around him. That's my boy. We're going to sit here, and I got my popsicle. Like, life is good. And when he bends over to make that motion like he's going to sit on the couch, he farts on my popsicle. Yeah, and then he gives me this look, like side-eyed, and look like he was like, yeah, I just did that, you know. And then he walks away, and I'm sitting here thinking, my God, the kid has no fear. Like, I was like, yeah. And he thought it was great, but I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know, because I was like, it's like one of the greatest things ever, or, you know, that's my popsicle. Do I choke you out now?
It's so funny because I'm the worst. I'm like the worst dad, like when it comes to farting. Like I'm trying to fart on the kids actively all the time. It's like my worst habit. But anytime they fart, I'm like, ew, don't do that.
Dude, same thing. Like,
but I'll walk past Lydia sitting on the couch and just walk away. She's like, Dad, what the heck?
If Jason and I do it, and we are trying to get out of this habit, but if Jason and I do it, it's hilarious. Ha ha, high five. If Gracie does it, we're both like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Maybe it's just women can't fart.
No
farting for. It's so funny because this is kind of like TMI, but Shelby refuses to admit that she poops. Like, she's like, nope, I don't. My feces just dissipate into thin air. I don't poop.
Just evaporates.
She'll never admit it. Like and what's funny is in 11 years I've never known when she's pooping. Like, it's just, she's never been in the bathroom long enough for me to think, oh, she's pooping, you know?
Oh, man, she's a fast pooper.
I think either she's a fast pooper or she, like, sets an alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning and does it when everybody's asleep.
Right.
You know, like, it's crazy. But she's so adamant, like, nope, I don't poop.
Oh, my God. My kids know every time.
My little one shits like it's her job.
Yeah.
Like, she was put on this earth to shit. So I was like, no way you don't poop. If this one shits like that, like, no way. She swears by it. She doesn't poop.
Dude, I have walked in because like the kids will forget to flush the toilet every now and then, and I'll see what's in there, and I just come out screaming, and I'm just like, okay, we got to get somebody to the emergency room, because I was like, this is not natural. This is not good. And
tell me about it, dude.
Oh my God, disgusting little animals.
On the topic of disgusting, we should probably stop talking about poop, actually. I was going to say my daughter, my little one, she used to have a milk protein allergy, so she didn't touch anything dairy for the first 5 years of her life, or 4 years. Finally got the okay. We went back, got her allergy tests, and she was clear to go on anything, milk related. So we got her ice cream and mozzarella sticks the first day she was cleared to like eat dairy. This kid's never had dairy in her life. her first poop after that was like, I was like, we got to go to the ER.
Just insane.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to go.
God.
Now the kid eats cheese like it's her job.
Gracie hates cheese.
I love cheese.
I do too.
Steve, that's my biggest problem, especially with the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I could go to the gym and train or stay home, like I hate to admit it, last night I took a piece of bread and I toasted it and I just put shredded cheese on it.
And just that's your meal.
That's it, and hot sauce.
Oh my God. To be your age again.
That's the stoner life, honestly.
I'm sitting here eating like what the meal that I had before I came today was just white rice, a little bit of it, some grilled chicken and broccoli. And that's pretty much, what I eat. Now, don't be wrong. I've been eating worse the past few weeks, and I've noticed, like I was thinking about this morning, woke up, I was like, God, I feel like shit.
Wow.
I was like, I feel so bad, and I was like, I attribute that to my diet, because I was starting to think, I was like, when did you start feeling bad? And I was like, oh, when you started slipping off your diet a little bit, you started eating more carbs and eating, and having more sugar and stuff like that, drinking these bad drinks and like sodas and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting here thinking, oh man, so today I woke up with the goal. I was like, you're going to go back to eating way more healthy, more clean, to see how you feel here in like 2 weeks.
Drinking Zevia as opposed to regular soda.
Now, I got to try it to see, because I mean, you've talked about it a lot, but my God, what kind of animal does not put it over ice or in a refrigerator or something? Who drinks it just straight warm like that?
Well, it's not warm. That's the thing. I don't know how to describe
room
it.
temperature.
It's a little more than room temperature.
It's room. I held it.
It's a little cold. Give it a shake.
That's room temperature.
No, I don't know. Either way, it's definitely not room temperature.
Is it a northern thing?
No, it's not really. I mean, yes and no. Up north, like
Yankees.
especially in the winter, you won't like put your sodas in the fridge. You'll leave them outside, like in your entryway, in your hallway, in your front, walkway, because it's cold in there. It's not like like your little entryway to a home, like you don't have one at your house, but like if you had like a little mud room for your shoes, people would leave sodas out.
I got a front porch.
Yeah, but if it was enclosed up north, it would be cold enough because it's not insulated. It's just like a little enclosed attachment. People leave their sodas out there and stuff.
And nobody steals them or anything?
Beer. Nobody steals them.
Really?
Yep.
And there's free beer out there?
A lot of the times.
Oh, man, I'm going
I got at least 4 addresses for anybody
going to the north for the winter.
Up in Massachusetts if you want to go steal some beer.
There you go.
Just kidding. But yeah, no, I don't refrigerate these. But I've been drinking. I realized the other day, actually just yesterday, I realized that I've been drinking Zevia for 5 years.
All right, let's look at it. 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sodium, 0 protein. Where's the sugar?
No sugar, sweetened by stevia extract, and there are natural flavors in it. Apparently, depending on the company.
Is stevia good for you?
It's not. I know it's 300 times sweeter than sugar. I believe I could be making that up. But I know it's sweeter than sugar, and it's healthy. It's not unhealthy. It's not a chemically processed. It's a plant.
But in today's day and age, like we'll say something's unhealthy for like 3 years, and then we'll turn around and be like, "Oh no, it's actually healthy."
I know. I've been drinking yesterday. I've been drinking Zevia for 5 years, and then like maybe 2 years from now, I got cancer from Zevia. Who knows?
I'm just waiting for like turn on the TV and be like, "Hey guys, we were dead wrong. We need everybody to start smoking.
Yep.
At least 2 packs a day.
Mm-hmm. Lots of sweets.
Lots of sweets. That grease that you've been draining out of your meat. Don't
right
bother
down the
with
throat.
that. Yeah,
right down the throat hole.
No, but like they would tell. I remember, when was it? Was it like early 2000s or whatnot? And they would talk about like how eggs were bad for you, And now they're
dairy
like,
milk.
Yeah, dairy milk and all that fats, any fats. Yeah. And now it's like, no, you need to get your fats. You need to drink the milk.
Now there's new names. Now there's like complex proteins or complex carbs and stuff like that. And like there's like little subdivisions now, so they can justify why they were wrong. And like, oh, well, you didn't need that kind of fat. You needed the healthy fats.
The avocado
from the
fat
avocados.
Yeah.
Okay, you just messed up.
Yeah.
You just know.
It's just crazy, like society.
Eating cheeseburgers.
Oh my God, I love cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger last night.
Yeah.
After we recorded Tom's podcast, I went and got a cheeseburger. I was like, I need to make sure I have enough time between eating this cheeseburger. I need to, process it and digest it and make it to the gym without throwing up. Because I typically don't eat at all from when I wake up until after the gym. I don't eat at all. Dang, I just realized that.
I was just checking my phone to see the time because I was making a conscious effort not to talk about the Militia podcast because it seems like what we always do, which I love the Militia podcast, love Militia, but I was like, man, we're more like the review for that, podcast.
Why do we do that?
Huh?
We're such Tom fanboys.
Well, you produce it and everything. Yeah, fanboys.
God.
Fanboy.
I know Stephanie's going to listen to this. She's probably laughing her ass off right now.
I love Stephanie. Stephanie is the coolest. She
told
is,
me I was looking skinny yesterday. I was like, oh.
Okay, well, apparently she needs glasses. I mean, or she's just super nice. One of the two, little both. But like, say she took Gracie to go get her hair cut last Friday, and that meant so much to me.
That was
like,
really cool,
because it got Gracie out with other women, and Gracie, she's kind of quiet, but she was telling me that she did have a good time and that she did enjoy it. She would like to do something like that again. I'm hoping eventually to get Gracie into the women's militia, but like I'm trying to, because Gracie, constantly with me and everything, and I want to get her more, because like I see myself in her. I see my bad traits, like, and so I don't know. It just that meant a lot to me. I thought that was super awesome. So Stephanie, if you're listening, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, we should probably stop talking about that podcast so much.
Well, my plan is with this podcast is to first overtake the Militia podcast. And once we do that, we go for Rogan, and then we sign our deal with Spotify.
Sounds good.
It does.
Sounds good.
It's easy.
Sounds easy.
It does. I mean,
it's because I was.
Have you ever heard of Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan?
Yeah, maybe a little bit here and there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Fear Factor guy, right?
Yeah. He's got like some sort of radio show or something. I don't know, but
I'll have to check it out. Was literally listening to it an hour ago.
Did you hear it when I was pulling up?
Pulled up?
Yeah, I was listening to him and Tim Dillon.
We're such a fucking what's the word? Like we're such
podcast junkies.
Yeah, we're losers.
Yes, constantly listening to podcasts, both of us. And I don't know, like I love them. I freaking love them.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like it's such a simple thing, and I was thinking about it a lot during the whole pandemic thing because there was all the controversy with Joe Rogan and
horse medicine.
Yeah, the horse medicine, all that shit. But even like when the whole compilation of him saying the N-word came out and stuff that. And but the way they were debating it on TV, they were having these quick little 10-second little blips on CNN and shit. Like, one guy's on this side of the screen, one guy's on this side. It's like a 2-minute conversation. I was like, no information got conveyed.
Yeah.
Like that was the dumbest conversation I've ever heard in my life. And the reason why I like podcasts is because like they're 30 minutes minimum, most of them, and like you can you can hear a good conversation. You can get a lot out of it. You can get entertained for an extended period of time. Like if you got an hour-long car ride to work, crush a podcast, you're more than likely going to learn something. You're definitely going to be entertained depending on who you listen to.
Right.
Like there's so many benefits to them. And that in audiobooks single-handedly changed like the direction of my life because it was like before I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't start getting ideas for like moving to Tennessee or starting a business or trying to become a full-time musician. None of those ideas were in my head prior to listening to a podcast because I would hear people come on a Joe Rogan show talking about their experiences and like, all right, I can do that too. Like, why not just do it? Take the leap, So that's why I quit my job to do music full-time. Obviously, COVID had other plans for us, but it's like I got all that. I got that confidence. I got that mindset. I got those skills from listening to podcasts constantly.
Sounds like a smart decision, quitting your job.
Yeah. It was. It was. It's funny because like now, I don't know. Now I have this weird mindset just about living life in general, and like no matter how much I feel like I would need the money, unless it came down to not being able to feed and keep a roof over my family.
Yeah,
I've made this decision where know I'll never work a corporate job again.
God, I was just having that conversation yesterday.
It's funny because I work at Starbucks part time, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's like corporate city," and I was like, "It is and it isn't." I don't work for a corporate store, so like I wouldn't say we're laxed, but like it's not the same. I don't have corporate breathing down my neck every day. Probably should cut this out. I'm not sure yet, but I work at Starbucks. But that's so part time and out of the way. It's like I wake up early every day anyway, so I get up at 4:30. I go to Starbucks for 5:30, and then I'm gone by 11 every day. I've got so much time to do whatever the hell else I want, which is the goal. I want consistent income from a source for now, as I can build my side businesses or my side hustles or my dream life. So that's why. But like I'll never work a 9 to 5 again. I'll never work a corporate desk job 9 to 5 ever again, unless it comes down to being able to feed my family. Then I would obviously be forced to, but
I cannot say never, but I am trying to do every damn thing there is to where I don't have to go back to the corporate world. And that's not knocking the corporate world, but I worked in it for so long that, you know, being out of it and having this freedom, having, you know, and we are doing different things
you're out of the corporate world?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that. It's just a joke.
Oh.
I didn't know if it was public knowledge yet.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
It is now.
Breaking news. Steve's homeless.
I don't think anyone really cares.
I care.
No, man, I've got other sources of income coming in.
He's a hustler, baby.
Yeah, baby. But it's, I don't know. Like, I just had this conversation yesterday. I ran into somebody and that we used to work together, and he's in another corporate job, but he was telling me how awesome it was. But, you know, the general consensus was how happy we were to be out of our last job.
Yeah.
And that's not saying anything about our previous employer or anything. We just, you know, wanted something different. And the corporate landscape is changing too. Like when I first started working in that kind of world was, say, back in mid 2000s, and, you know, you could get away with saying certain things or doing certain things, making certain jokes, you know, just like how comedy was back then.
Yeah, 100%.
And then versus today, like I remember being at work and, you know, worked with a bunch of gay guys, you know, and they were great. They were awesome. And, but there was this one I didn't like. I just did not like him. And, you know, as soon as I said something, we were in a conversation. I was like, "Yeah, I don't like that guy." And they're like, "Oh," and not the other gay guys. It was like, you know, straight people. They're like, "Oh my God, he's homophobic." I'm like, "No, that dude's just a douchebag.
Just don't like that.
I don't like that
guy."
Yeah, I was like, but we are now living in a time
Yeah.
where you can't make fun of anything, where you have to like somebody just based off what they identify as or anything, instead of, you know, judging them based on their character.
Being a person.
And I was like, it's his character that I don't like.
Right.
You know, like his, I don't know. And it was funny because I had other gay guys are like, "Man, I hate that dude." I was like, "All right, you see what I'm saying then?" They're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh yeah, he's a douche." And I was like, "All right, cool."
They're probably like, he's not really gay.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, I knew a dude like that. It was in Knoxville when I was living there. The guy had a harem of women. All the women loved him.
Yeah.
And like, he would pretend to be gay, and then they would go out to clubs and stuff like that. And then afterwards, he'd try to hook up with them. And sometimes he was able to pull it off. And he would use these elaborate stories, like, you know, "Oh, I've never done this before." You know, like it being something new and trying. And dude's basically just a damn predator. You know?
Holy crap.
Yeah, but like the women, they loved him.
Yeah.
They loved him. And then in their crazy woman minds, they were just kind of like, "Oh, I'm changing him. I'm bringing him over. He's switching teams.
I'm gonna pop his cherry.
I'm the one that's going to get him to switch teams." And I'm just like, "No, dude ain't gay."
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
I had another friend.
What a plan, huh?
Oh yeah, it was me. I'm just kidding.
You're a predator.
I had another friend out in, well, I want to say where, another place where I lived, and it was hilarious because we were all like, he had a girlfriend and everything. She was awesome. And we'd always tell him, we're like, "Dude, you're gay." We're like, "It's okay." They're like, "You just, you know, you can come out and tell us." He's like, "No, I'm not gay," and everything. he was one of those people. I don't know if you ever ran into this, where they start drinking themselves gay. The more they drink, the more handsy
I could
and
probably drink myself gay.
And well, he would tell us some stories, which were, I mean, just jaw dropping. We're like, you let your girlfriend do what with? And he would just, all this stuff. But I mean, we didn't care, but we're like, dude, you're gay. And he's like, I'm not gay. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, that's gay. And they're like, would you kiss this dude? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're gay now. It's okay.
That's fair.
Even his girlfriend.
Did we have this conversation? I'm just kidding.
I was talking about you. No, but like,
oh man,
it is what it is, and I love the guy to death. I think he's finally come out as like, what do they call that? Where they go both ways, bi or whatever.
Bisexual.
Yeah, so I think he's come out as bisexual. We're like, hey, good for you, man. We knew it.
Awesome. I'm trisexual. Just kidding.
What the hell is that with animals or
with the universe?
What do you identify as?
Like,
are you a they?
I'm a man. I'm a he. Him.
He, him?
Yeah, how about yourself?
Okay, cool. I have no idea. Like, I
sure
couldn't,
yet?
even to be funny, I couldn't figure it out. Like,
Pronouns aren't funny, Steve.
I don't understand, like, even making a joke about it. I'm like, God,
it sucks
I don't know.
Because I do have friends that, like, are going to be like, give me shit about this.
I've seen people, like, on Facebook, and, like, you look at their profile page, and it's like, hey, identify as they, them, this, and that, and whatever. And I'm just like, man, how do you figure that out? Because I don't know. I don't know the scale.
It's funny because we're laughing about it, but it's such a funny, sensitive topic to some people.
It is for some people, and
it is what it is. Like you said earlier, everybody's so offended by everything.
Everything.
There's nothing to.
It's ruined comedy. It has ruined comedy because, like, you can't joke around. Even if you got a message and your jokes may come off as somewhat offensive or whatnot, but you got a build up and a punchline and you're leading it to have a real good positive message. People don't see that, and they just want to be offended. Like, so many people today watch a comedy special not because they want to get a laugh out of it, because they're waiting for that moment to be offended, because that's what gives them the satisfaction. That's what they're just like, that's their aha moment,
right.
And they're like, yes, now I can try to cancel this person.
Right, and thinking they're making a difference.
Yeah.
When in the grand spectrum of things, it's that individual is not,
nothing.
Dave Chappelle saying something about a trans person isn't killing the trans community. It's like, like he made a joke. Like, I don't know.
It's easy. It's so easy for, what we consider to be like a good person these days, compared to what it'd be, the prerequisites that you'd have to do, just say like 10 years ago. Today, if you go on to your social media page and put anything, I stand with whatever, this, that, the other thing, they, them. All you have to do is just give the lip service, give the words, right. And then, you're a good person.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, you're a great person. Whereas, like, no, that's not how I see it. Like, I think of a good person, someone who goes and actually puts in the work, volunteers their time, goes to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, goes to soup kitchens, goes and does these things. That's a good person to me. And I could care less if that person, what they recognize themselves as, what gender they were, what race they were, what sexuality, whatever, it's, again, being based off character. And that's what I look at. I don't care what you want to do, who you want to sleep with, what whatever. It's none of my business. But your character, if you're going to be in my life, that's huge to me.
Yeah, 100%. And like, especially these days, like, who you surround yourself with in general makes a big difference. So yeah, it's not a lot of good people out there. There is a lot of good people, but there's a lot of good people. The people that, we're kind of talking about are the minority, except they just have the loudest voice. Yeah.
Yep. They have the loudest voice and the biggest presence, like on social media. What's scary is how corporations are falling into this. My last one that I worked for, and like, it's just how the environment changed. And, again, like I said, when I said I didn't like the gay guy, and they were just my team was just a gasp. Oh my God,
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, I say team. It was more coworkers. That was me. Sorry.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, well, realistically, we got to wrap this bad boy up anyway. It's about that time. My wife's going to come busting through that door. Well, we got about 10 minutes.
All right, so we got 10 minutes. What I would like eventually to do is eventually once we start publishing these, which our first one should be published today, and then we'll also have the Instagram page, so please go like and follow us on Instagram. Go to our YouTube page, Have White Belt Will Travel, like and follow that. But what I like to do is start getting some questions and do a little Q&A, you know?
Absolutely. And I was putting a lot of thought into that today, like not questions specifically, but growing this podcast. Because like I was spending so much time getting episode 1 ready and like getting the logo, the artwork ready and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, like now that it's a tangible thing, I'm like, it's just like the business. It's like, how do we turn this into something? And the key to that is just consistency.
Yeah.
Making sure we're staying up on it and making sure we're marketing it properly, and then it's gonna get around eventually. But like I was thinking about it because it's like typically people who have something to offer, like like comedians or people like Joe Rogan or like health specialists or exercise specialists. Those are the people that start podcasts that can gain traction already because they're in a specific niche. We're kind of coming at this from a bunch of different angles. Right. So I'm like, how are we going to grow this? Because that's why I put on the Instagram page just that funny little blurb, like we're just normal people having a normal conversation.
Yeah. We got one extraordinary person.
Yes, the guy who does all the technology stuff.
The guy sitting across from you. Thank you.
You just talk, bro.
I love how you compliment me. I love me some me. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you're not bad. You're an all right fella.
I am my biggest fan.
So far, so
and only
good.
friend.
There you go. But like I was thinking about it, I'm like, we're just two normal dudes. We're not a comedian that already has an established fan base. Our business is an infant. Like it's we're not at this moment people of high value. Like from the outside looking in. Internally, we know that we're of high value because we know that just this podcast alone, just constantly us getting to know each other better and being able to build a business together and to build a podcast together and to build a brand together and to just like experience new things. I think that's what could make this podcast successful. It's just like week after week when we release one, like something new and pushing us forward has happened. That's kind of the goal I'd like, is that every week something pushes us a little bit forward, whether it be, process with, this podcast or in the business. Something's growing every week, so we have something to talk about, and hopefully somebody at home takes something away from that.
Yeah, and that would be good. Like even if it was the Q&A and they ask questions, because like they can listen to me and be like, oh man, that guy.
Chris Gordy's going to write, where the hell has Steve been? It's Wednesday, and he's still
I'm going to ask him a question, and whatever Steve says, I'm going to do the opposite and be successful.
I think I offended him the other day because I was recording video footage for the gym.
Yeah.
And I was in the corner, and he was doing drills with Bree.
Yeah.
And I was recording just his head, and I was like, oh, my God, there's a weird glare on my camera. Where's that light bouncing off of? And I was talking about his bald head. Yeah. He was like, are you talking about my head? I was like, yeah.
Dude, they were shooting, they were taking a picture, and they were doing it for the website or whatnot, and it was me holding pads for Chris while he was doing like teep kicks. Well, instead of actually going through the motion and doing the actual teep, I mean, which he did, and they took some pictures of that, they did then had like where he just had his leg extended, just like in a pose almost. That guy is not flexible at all. I thought I was unflexible. The sweat beads coming off of his head and the groans and the sounds, like getting his foot off the ground and trying to stand in there. And I'm like, and if you see this guy, I mean, he hardly has any body fat. He's jacked. He's huge. But I'm just like, oh my God.
That's funny.
I found his weakness.
Good old Chris Gordy. He's still somehow,
leg flexibility.
He somehow finds a way to get a shout out on our episode too. And
I know, right? I know everybody loves that guy.
Everybody loves Chris.
He is awesome.
It's the opposite of that show. Everybody hates Chris.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But again, guys, if you would, please go and like and subscribe to the Have White Belt Will Travel YouTube page, the Instagram page. And then, while you're at it, I mean, you're already on the social, so why the hell not? Go to Elite Clean Chattanooga, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like and subscribe to those.
Yeah, do all that stuff.
We may be having a raffle coming up soon.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be raffling off some stuff.
Yeah. So it's a chance to win some prizes. Come on, guys.
Who doesn't love a good prize? I know I do.
I think I got some ketchup packets.
What could it be? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 2. And we'll catch you next week. Like Steve said, follow us online. We're going to be asking questions and trying to engage with people online to grow this podcast. So,
all right, guys, y'all be good. Remember, love your neighbor. Go out there and volunteer. Do something good for the world. Peace.
And wrap it up.